It's December. I've got my bushcraft gear with me. I'm here all day. It's December's Bushcraft All Dayer. Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. Well, as you saw from that intro, it's December's Bushcraft All Dayer, the 12th one of the year, if my understanding of the basic calendar is correct. Those of you that watch these videos that are regular subscribers will know that rather than just come out into the woods and potter around aimlessly, I always like to come out with something in mind, some ideas, some projects, some tasks that I want to tick off. They could be things that are new to me, they could be things that I want to try out, they could be things that I've done before and I just want to keep my hand in. This month's no exception. I've got some new kit that I want to try out, a new tarp and a new lid for my metal mug. I want to start a fire using natural materials. It's been absolutely soaking wet here for weeks now. I've never seen a December so wet. So I want to get some natural materials, either some bracken. Ta-da! That was fortuitous. Some bracken or maybe some honeysuckle. Something that I know has been left out in the elements through all this rain. And I want to try that, bringing that to a flame and then coaxing that into a fire. If I get a fire going, I'm going to cook up some pancakes on the fire using my skillet, and whilst that's cooking away I'm probably going to do a little bit of field sharpening on my Mora Garberg because I've noticed a little flat spot towards the tip recently. So new kit, fire in very, very, very damp conditions, a little bit of cooking and a little bit of sharpening to round the year off. Let's see how I get on. I'm in a slightly different area than where I normally go, folks. I'm normally 2 miles north of here. Today I'm 2 miles south of there in this spot for no other reason than I fancied a change. In my last video, my last all day video, I talked about the fact that I had a new tarp on the way. It has arrived. It's an Alpkit Rig 7. I'll put a link to it down below. This video is not a review video. It's not an unboxing type video or anything like that. I'm not big fans of reviewing anything unless I've actually used it. This tarp has never seen the light of day until today. It's not been put up yet, so unfair to do a review of it. I might have some first impressions. In fact, I've already started to form some first impressions, but I'm going to save those for a first impressions video that I'm going to record in a few weeks' time. This is really all about just getting the guy lines attached, the ridge lines attached, getting a feel for the material, getting a feel for anything that I might need to do to modify this tarp setup to work for the way that I like to put them up. So I'm going to dig it out of my day sack now, get it rigged up in the typical way that I normally do, and then I'll have some shelter to work under for the rest of the day. As I said earlier in the video, it's rained a lot recently, a massive amount. It looks like it's going to be clear today, but this is the British weather, so crossing my fingers isn't going to be enough. I won't have a tarp above my head too. Done. The tarp's up, same way that I normally put it up. I'm not going to go into detail in this video. Sorry if that's what you were waiting for, but I think it's worth its own video in its own right, looking at my tarp setup, some hints and tips that I've discovered and been shown along the way to make life a little bit easier when putting these up and taking them down and actually administrating yourself and living underneath them. So it's going to be a stand-alone video. I put it up quite high today because I want to get a small fire going underneath here, and clearly the last thing I want is setting it on fire, at least not today. Okay, next week, the month after, but not on day one. So I'm now going to crack on and start getting my fire making and fire building materials together, and then let the pancake fest begin. I've moved a couple of 100 metres from where my tarp is to this location, not because there's no bracken there, there's actually quite a lot, but because it's quite a sheltered area, and that bracken is soaking wet. That bracken is also quite sheltered, so it's not getting any sunlight, although there isn't a great deal, but it's also not getting any breeze either. So I've come out onto one of the rides in this wood here, where it's more open, there's less canopy above us, it's much more open for the wind to sweep through, in the hope that a combination of those things will mean that this is drier than the wet bracken that's in the woodland in a darker, more enclosed area. So I'm going to collect a good armful of this, move it back to the bivvy area, store it off the ground, under the tarp, just in case, and then I'm going to crack on with looking for some additional tinder to get this fire going. But first port of call is going to be gathering some of this bracken. I'm discarding anything that looks wetter than the rest. So there's some dark pieces here that's clearly been in contact with some of the fallen logs, so I'm discarding that, and I'm only going for the light coloured fronds. Is that the right phrase? Fronds? Bracken fronds? Let me know in the comments. But I'm going for the light coloured stuff. I'm going for the stuff that looks like it's dry. What I'm going to go for at the moment, if A, I can stop the dog knocking the tripod over, and B, I can stop the dog nicking the bracken, is I'm going to go for my flint and steel onto some char cloth in a bird's nest in the ferns, hopefully blow that into flame, and then add on some birch, some silver birch twigs and kindling to help establish that flame a little further. Without further ado, just drop in a few pieces of charcoal in. I do, if the tinder is marginal like it is today, there's an element of moisture in there, I do like to drop in a few pieces of charcoal just to give it longer for that heat to generate and build up and drive out any moisture. There we go, got a piece. No, lost it. All the charcoal bent out, go away. All the charcoal bent out before I had a chance to establish the flame. So, I'm going to drop a little more in. There we go. For those of you watching think you should have done this, you should have done that, I have scrunched up and almost buffed into powder a lot of the fronds of this, so this is sitting against some incredibly fine material. The word bugger springs to mind, so that's not having it. Right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go default to some birch bark shavings, and I'm going to put the birch bark shavings in here and use that. So I still don't want to waste the bracken that I've picked here, but clearly there's too much moisture, I guess, in there for that to go from a piece of char cloth. So I want to give it more of something more as resembling a flame, then the bracken, then onto the twigs. So I'm going to go and scrounge, scavenge and forage some silver birch to turn into shavings. Back in a second. Regular campsite viewers will probably recognise my black metal mug there. That is a staple in my outdoor gear. You'll probably see me cooking many a brew, probably pine needle tea, ginger tea or hot chocolate on this very thing. I've had this for decades. 93, 94 I probably bought it from Aldershot, and back in the day when I was in the army I used to improvise a lid for this just out of a little piece of silver foil, and I used to fold it back up and carry it with me. Clearly that silver foil is long gone, and as I'm a little more flushed than I was as a 17, 18 year old, I've gone recently and splashed out from Handmade by wildcrafts.co.uk. There's the logo there. I've sent him a template of this because this isn't a BCB, this isn't a Crusader mug, this is a knockoff that I bought years ago, but I sent him an outline of it, and he's very kindly made me a lid to fit on that. So I'm going to use that today. Clearly the advantages of this are that it stops leaves, debris falling in, but it also helps, I guess, for the water to boil quicker, because I'm not losing any of the heat through steam. I'm not losing any of the heat from the mug because it's been encapsulated like that. So first time out today, let's get rid of some of that nice shiny new look appearance of it. Let's get some soot on it. Yep, I think she's ready. Hot chocolate's going down well. Skillet's on the fire, some butter in there heating up. Leave it. Cheating again, as I did back in the summer. I've already mixed in flour, eggs, milk, so it's pre-mixed. I really should get my backside in here and come out with the dry ingredients and the powdered egg and the powdered milk, and actually make, you know, reconstitute it out here as if I were on a longer expedition. Clearly that isn't going to last very long when travelling. It's been overnight in the refrigerator at home. So pancake time, probably enough in there for two. That's not one each. Okay, talking to the dog. Oh, disagreeing with me. Let's bring him into shot. In shot, just about. This is not one each. Okay, it's maybe 1 3/4. Oh no, the old paws. Oh, I've gotten the old paw, the old guilt trip. Maybe 1 3/4 for me. Maybe a burnt crispy leftover for you. What do you say? Do you agree? Agree? No? I know it looks like I'm talking to myself. Let's spin that round. There is a dog there. There it is. Look. Promise. Promise. I'll give you some, I promise, okay? But not much. Let's get this pancake mix on. For those of you thinking, why is he using a plastic spoon? It's because my wooden spoon that I carved myself, took great pride in, has actually split at the end of the bowl. Around here there's a split starting to form in. So I'm sulking at the moment with wooden spoons. I'm not actually, I've carved 2 or 3 in the past week or 2 that are just out drying at home. Some of them at various different stages have been finished and been oiled up, whatever the phrase is, lubed up. Lube the spoon up. So yeah, I've not lost, I just didn't bring it out on this particular occasion because it started to split. Well, pancake done. I'm not going to flip it because we know what will happen, don't we, if I do. She'll end up having all of it because it'll go up in the air and splatter everywhere. And she's not having all of it, she being the dog, not the missus. Little bit of syrup on that, little bit of syrup, a little bit of honey on there. There we go. Oh, there it is. There's the money shot. There it is. Perfect. Right then, let's get my face into this. Fire's just starting to die out, which is good from a fire management perspective. Probably get one more out of this before the embers cool down. Tell me, let me know in the comments below, what's your favourite meal to cook outside, and what's your favourite dessert to cook outside? Must be cooked, can't be something that you just take out with you and eat out there. Favourite meal to cook when outside doing this kind of thing, and your favourite dessert to cook. Clearly mine is pancakes, because I'm eating it as a meal as well as the pudding. 2 for 1. Dogs is clearly whatever I'm eating. 2 pancakes later. The dog did get some, I promise. I'm going to turn my attention now to sharpening or touching up my Mora Garberg. Still continually impressed with this knife, continually impressed the fact that I can manage to get it to a very, very good edge. What I did notice though a day or two ago was that, and I'm not going to try and hold this up to camera because there's no way that I'll be able to get it in focus and the light shining at the right angle, but just there where my finger is on the edge of the blade, there's just a little flat spot. I'm getting some light reflecting back at me, indicating that it's, you know, it's not a nice fine edge on that. So I'm going to take the opportunity whilst I'm out here to turn my attention to, or to bring out my Beaver Bushcraft sharpening kit that I bought. Crikey, I think this was back in the spring. I don't remember. I did record a video on it and I'm going to link to it up here. There's a video up there. So I'm just going to use the diamond lapping fluid that came with it. The 800 and 1000 double-edged diamond stone, and also the strop that came with it as well. Won't take me long. I'm not going to do the whole blade. I'm not going to try and, you know, I'm just going to get to that spot, touch up that spot where there's a flat spot, hone that area, probably hone the whole blade because I've been using it slightly today, and then I'll be on my way, making my way back to the motor. I can already feel the bear on the other side. Now I'm just going to turn my attention to the 1000 side, put a little bit of lapping fluid on that. So I pushed the bear from one side to the other, pushed it back again, pushed it back again, pushed it back again. Could see the bear, but couldn't see, or could feel the bear, couldn't see that flat spot anymore though. So I've just taken it to the 1000 side of the stone now. I do like this sharpening kit. I'm going to put a link to it in the video description below. Don't make any money from it, it's not an affiliate link or anything like that. Just a very, very nice, easy to use, effective sharpening kit. And nice people as well. Always very, very helpful if you've got any questions or queries. I was still able to see a little bit of the flat spot, but actually those last sweeping strokes yep, it's a goner. So let's just finish off by having a strop. I'm going to strop the whole blade, even though I've only been actually working sort of on the top third and a specific part of that top third at that. And then final time on the relatively clean side. It picks up dirt naturally, but it's got no compound on there. Yes, very happy with that. Eliminated that flat spot that was here on the blade. And just stropped the rest of it because I have been using it a little bit today. Good stuff. There we have it, folks. Another Bushcraft All Dayer in the bag, and of course, given the fact that it's December, the last one of the year. So how did it go? It was good to get my new tarp out. I'd rigged it up at home, or so I thought. It was good to get it out in the field though, because what I realised was I've not rigged up my inner gear line that goes on the inner roof to hang things from, to admin myself from. So I'd forgotten to do that at home. So it was good to get it out here when I didn't really need to, and realise that mistake, so I can correct that back at home before I fall foul of it for real. Didn't need the tarp today. It has actually been a very, very nice dry day considering what we've had recently, so didn't need the tarp. It was good to take it out. Did use the metal mug lid, as you saw. That has most definitely earned its place in my bushcraft kit on a permanent basis from now on whenever I take my metal mug out, which is all the time, so that was good to see. The fire, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, that fire, that took a lot of effort, took a lot of time. What you may not have seen, because my battery ran out on the camera that I was recording with at the time, I bring out several different batteries, so it may not be obvious just how long it took me to actually get that fire going. It took me a long time, much longer than I would have hoped for, much longer than I really wanted to. So I don't want you to be misled to think that I got that fire going in super quick time. It's because of the failing battery that made it look like it was incredibly quick. It very definitely wasn't. In the end, if it isn't clear, depending on when my battery ran out, I'm not sure, I sacked the charcloth, I sacked the heather and the bracken, and in the end I just went for good old standard birch bark shavings, and I had to feed almost individually the pencil lead thickness twigs onto it to get it going. It took a lot of coaxing, it took a lot of hand holding. In some respects I was disappointed that it did that and that I didn't have success first time round. From another perspective, I'm pleased that you know, there was a reason it took a long time, and that was because everything was sodden or was very, very damp. I'm pleased that I was able to get it going. I was pleased I was able to persevere and still use the natural materials and still get it going, although it wasn't plan A. But hey, you know, when does plan A ever really work out when Mother Nature's involved? Pancake was a pancake in the woods. What could possibly go wrong? And the knife sharpening, it was good to spend just a few minutes towards the end of the day just getting that knife back up to standard so that I can clean it, oil it when I get home, and put it away for the Christmas and New Year period. Speaking of Christmas and New Year, by the time this video goes out, I expect it will be at some point between Christmas and New Year. So I hope you and your family, if you celebrate Christmas, had a very, very Merry Christmas, and in a few days time it will be New Year, so I hope you have a very happy New Year's Eve and a successful 2019. Speaking of 2019, in 2018 I've done a series of Bushcraft All Dayers. You've just seen the final one of the year. Last year, 2017, I did a series of Bushcraft All Nighters. What should I do in 2019, do you think? What should I do next year? Should I go back to the all-nighters? Should I stick with the all-dayers? Should I do a combination of the two? Should I do something else completely? I'd be interested in your thoughts in the comments below. All-nighters, all-dayers, a combination or something else. Do let me know in the comments below. I can make no promises that I will stick to what you ask for, because clearly it's got to fit in around my life and the children and the kids' life and the wife and all the rest of it, and the bloody dog and all the rest of it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your preference would be and why it would be your preference. Personally, I prefer the all-dayers. They fit in nicely with sort of working and family life. They also mean I can actually do more because I'm clearly awake for the whole time I'm out here, whereas when I do an all-nighter, I'm probably asleep for the majority of the time. So that was my reasoning last year to go from an all-nighter to an all-dayer. I'm waffling on, I'm prattling on. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you if you've watched my other videos for doing that throughout the year. If you subscribed, thank you as always. If you've not yet subscribed, and here's the thing, about 3/4 of my viewers are non-subscribers. If you're one of them, please do click on that, there we go, that corner of the screen there, the subscribe button. It would be incredibly beneficial to me if you could click on that. Just think, I've got just over 2,000 subscribers. 3/4 more of that, about 6,000, there you go, are non-subscribers. I could have a really successful channel if I could get those non-subscribers to turn into subscribers. So it's Christmas. Christmas is coming up. I've been a good boy all year. I've pushed a video out for you every single week of the year, at least once a week, but every week, at least once a week, there's been a video. So please, come on Santa. All I want for Christmas is for everybody that's a non-subscriber to click on the subscriber button and become a subscriber. Folks, wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever you're doing, have a great Christmas. You've already had a great Christmas. Have a great New Year, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.